else. Thank you, everyone. Esteemed honourable guests, just give me a moment to introduce myself. I'm Andries Nel. I'm the Acting Sexual Offences and Community Affairs Unit of the National Prosecuting Authority, the Acting Provincial Manager for that unit. The SOCA unit, as we call it, is responsible on behalf of the NPA to manage the TCCs in the country. As you've seen, we've got the 5th one in the Free State, in Phuthaditjhaba. And what a proud moment this is. I'll be your program director for the day, and I'm a proud program director. So on that note, I think let's just give expression to our pride and just rise for the national anthem, please. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. We are running with quite a tight schedule for this program, so without further delay, I want to welcome the Executive Mayor of Bloemfontein District Municipality, Councillor Masibi, to do the word of welcome at this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director, and greetings to everyone who has attended this occasion. Program Director, let me greet, I don't want to break the protocol actually, but I will just go do it with regard to the department. So I will just greet the department from national and the province. I've seen the premiers here, the MEC for social development, the MEC for health, as well I've seen the Deputy Minister is here. So I will greet also the local mayor, the executive mayor, as well as the councillors that are here, the officials of government, the hospital board members that I've recognized, I've seen they are here for Elizabeth Ross and all the stakeholders present. So my task is a very easy one, because also in the interest of time, Mine is just to welcome everybody here, to say we as the Bloemfontein District Municipality, as the Maluti Apofo Local Municipality, we pride ourselves for your presence in this area today, because something very huge is happening in our area, something that is for the benefit of the community. So everyone who is here is coming to witness actually this launch of this TCC, the facility that we have been long awaiting to see it happening or functioning, and the facility that is mostly needed in the country. So we welcome you all, stakeholders, those who have played a role. We have traveled this morning to be here to ensure that the launch is successful. So you are welcome. Let us, like I've said, in the interest of time and looking at the calendar, the year calendar, what is happening this week, I don't think everybody would want to see himself or herself staying longer than an hour or 2 hours here. And some of you, I can see, I can read from your faces, you just here just to mark and tick the box to say, I was there, I was present. And after everything, you will see people disappearing one by one from here. So I'm saying we are welcome, and then let's do justice to what we have been invited for, and then let's celebrate with people of Thabo Mofutsanane as well as Maluti Apofo. Thank you very much. You are welcome.
Thank you, Councillor. Yes, I can just reiterate, I visit Phuthaditjhaba quite often. I visit the province and courts in the province. Always when you drive into Phuthaditjhaba, it's like the mountains, the arms of the mountains welcoming you. And it's just the warm people staying here. But we feel welcome, thank you. Our next agenda point will be the purpose of the day and the national, an address by our National Director of Public Prosecutions, Andries Batohi. Please, will you come to the podium?
Thank you and good morning. Firstly, let me say thank you to the Program Director. I am going to do since I'm the first one, I think I need to establish protocol. And so I'm going to, it's the Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Honorable Andries Nel, the Premier of the Free State, the MEC for Health in the Free State, the MEC for Social Development. I think I should mention the names as well. Premier for the Free State, Ms. Lesoha Matai, the MEC for Health, Mr. Mashlatsi, the MEC for Social Development, Mayor Lito, the MEC for Treasury, Mr. Makume, the MEC for Copter, Mr. Mokwena, the MEC for Roads and Police, Roads and Transport, Mr. Mbalula, the DG of the National Department of Health, Advocate Dr. Buthelezi, the Special Director of Public Prosecutions, the NPA, Advocate Bonnie Curry-Gamwo, the Provincial Commissioner of SAPS, I think being represented by Brigadier present, the Chief Director of the Forensic Medical Services, the National Department of Health, Dr. Ncha, and our key sponsors in this particular TCC, First Rand and the Head of Social Development, Ms. Gugushe, the SPA franchise owner that's present, Mr. Renken, Department of Education representatives, community representatives, our traditional leadership present here, and the faith-based community, representatives of NGOs, CBOs, prosecutors, TCC colleagues, other colleagues from various partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I think it is important that I mentioned all the partners and welcome you, because without all of you here present, this would not be possible. So we thank you very much. We have our representative from the CDE as well. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion. I hope I haven't missed anyone else out. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Today we launched the Phuthaditjhaba Thuthuzela Care Centre. the 5th one in the Free State. The others are in Bethlehem, Welkom, Bloemfontein, and Sasolburg, and the 66th in this country. In a country like South Africa, where gender-based violence has been described by the ex-deputy president of the country and also the executive director of UN Women, Thuthuzela Care Centre, she described it as a shadow pandemic. It's imperative upon all of us as government, as well as the private sector and society, to address gender-based violence in a comprehensive and impactful manner. And the Thuthuzela Care Centre model is that comprehensive and impactful intervention. But before I say anything more here today, I think I need to deal with perhaps a big elephant in the room, and that is the Omotozo decision in the Eastern Cape 2 weeks ago. There's no denying that this decision has had a devastating impact on our fight against gender-based violence in this country. But more importantly, we must spare a thought for the victims. One cannot imagine what they have gone through, having to testify, to courageously testify against someone who was revered as greater than God, perhaps. Extremely difficult. And as a court and as a justice system, we need to understand what it takes for victims to speak out in those extremely, extremely difficult circumstances. So to the young ladies that came forward in that case, I say to you, you've done nothing wrong. You've been courageous, and in fact, you are the ones other women must emulate to speak out. So with regard to the particular case, as a national director, as the NPA, we've been left stunned by it. And of course, it's an emotional matter. It's received a lot of public attention. It's a case that took 8 long years, primarily because of interlocutory applications by the accused in this matter. I want to assure the people of South Africa that as the NPA, as the National Director, we will not leave any stone unturned to ensure that we get to the bottom of what happened in this matter. Firstly, we have established a team headed by Advocate Bonnie Karigambo, who you saw, the special DPP. Where's Bonnie? Who's been taking us through she's been the lead in the NPA in all the TCCs. Many of you know her. A team headed up by Bonnie, and together with external excellent prosecutors, external from the Eastern Cape, together with 2 senior counsel, to firstly assess the prospects of success on an appeal. This work has started, and I'm hoping that before the end of this week, or at latest on the Tuesday after the Easter weekend, we will have a decision with regard to whether we're going to appeal this matter or not. That's the first thing. The second thing is there have been a lot of criticisms about the conduct of the prosecutors in this matter. And I want to be clear, because very often it's so emotional, and understandably so, because it also reflects how deeply we feel about these matters. But in dealing with that, we need to temper it with a level of soberness as we can understand with community activists, we can understand with the victims, the emotions are high. But for us, we need to understand the facts and look at what are they telling us, and what do we do about it. And so we need to temper the emotion and make sure that we allow legal processes to also unfold as our constitutional democracy requires of us. So there have been criticisms of the prosecutors in this matter. I want to be clear, because the facts get denuded in the public space. There were 2 groups of prosecutors. The first group, about 3 years ago, a judge made some comments about potentially those prosecutors influencing witnesses. With regard to that matter, there's an investigation continuing now. Someone might ask, why is it taking 3 years? The answer to that is the witnesses with regard to the prosecutor's conduct are the witnesses in the case itself, the victims themselves. So you can't continue with that until the victims have testified, they've gone through the process. Because of the victim-centered approach we have, the Deputy National Director and the DPP of the Eastern Cape decided to hold with that investigation. When the victims completed their testimony in August last year, that's when the investigation started. We are now looking at, I'm hoping to get a report fairly soon on that, with regard to the first group of prosecutors who were removed from the case after the judge made some comments about their conduct about 3 years ago. There was then a new team in place. Now that new team, the judge in her judgment has made some very critical remarks, has raised criticisms about the competence of the prosecutors with regard to cross-examination skills, with regard to not leading certain types of evidence. So what we've done with regard to this group of prosecutors is I've appointed a team, again, headed by Advocate Bonnie Curry-Gamwell, and we are looking together with experienced prosecutors from outside of the Eastern Cape. They are reading the entire judgment of the case, which is a very long transcript because it took a long time, this case. But they're reading everything so that we factually know exactly what happened in that case. And they will then give me a report to say, look, one, the prosecutors in fact were not competent, or they were competent and we need training, or we need some disciplinary processes or not. But I want us to not jump the gun and please allow these processes to continue. You have my assurance that we are fast tracking them, we're making sure we put all efforts into ensuring that we deal with this, because we as a country, we cannot allow this one case, but an important case, to actually detract us from our fight against sexual and gender-based violence. I want victims all over the country to know, and sadly we have thousands of victims, that you will be treated with the dignity, that we will give your cases every bit of care and support you need, particularly in centers like this, in Thuthuzela Care Centres, where you will get all the support services that you need in order to ensure that there is justice and accountability for the victims and the perpetrators are held to account. It's critical that we do this. The reality, colleagues, is that over the years, and I have statistics of this, there are hundreds and thousands of sexual and gender-based violence cases that are prosecuted in our courts every year, where long terms of sentences, imprisonment are being handed out by competent prosecutors. This is a case that has, if it's done if one can say a good thing, it's made many, many partners in this fight stand up and say, are we doing enough? And I think that for me, the CDE has said that they're going to have a hearing into the ability of the system to deal with sexual and gender-based violence matters. It is critical to understand that this is a systemic issue. It's not just the responsibility of law enforcement to deal with sexual and gender-based violence. And let me give you the bad news, that investigations and prosecutions are not going to solve the sexual and gender-based violence problem in our country. It's critical and it's important, and we must ensure we put everything into ensuring justice for victims that do come forward. But the solutions lie up front with society. And that is why I said to our colleague from the faith-based organizations, the education systems, our faith-based, our parenting, what do we need to do to make sure we deal with sexual and gender-based violence? So I think it's really, it's dangerous if we conclude that because of this one case, that the entire system is collapsing, or that this is the reason why we're not able to deal with sexual and gender-based violence matters. It is not the case, but we need to look at this, as I said, as a whole of society. As the NPA, we have a very long track record of adopting a victim-centered approach to dealing with sexual offenses. And the expansion of this footprint, together with our partners in government, the private sector, and civil society, is at the core of this approach. But critically, with key departments, the Department of Health, Police, the Department of Social Development, and then looking at other departments and the private sector. This TCC model has been recognized as an international best practice. South Africans are speaking about this model abroad because many countries don't even have a system like this. And you would have heard during our tour this morning that working together with Vodacom, we're working to expand the services so that victims are able to potentially testify from a TCC as opposed to going to a courtroom. So that will be really, really good for the victims. And we hope that together with the Department of Justice, I know the local head of the Department of Justice is here, the DG at the national level, we're working with them to make sure that we can give this service to victims as well. These are one-stop court-directed facilities, and they allow victims to become survivors. And I want to just tell you one thing. I think when we were at the Victoria Hospital in Cape Town, and we were launching the TCC there, one of the doctors came up and said that one of the survivors said to him, "Thank you for making the unbearable bearable." And that is what these centers aim to do. And so in the interest of time as well, I'm going to just skip a lot of what I'm meant to say, but the TCC model is impactful. We don't have enough of them. I'm just going to give you some of the figures of the TCC, of the number of victims that come through our doors, the doors of the TCC. In 2020, 2021, there were 57 TCCs, just short of 30,000 victims came through them. In 2023, 2024, when there's 64 TCCs, just short of 40,000 came through the TCC. So that's an increase of almost 35% over a 3-year period. And so I can give you figures for the last 8 years, but I'm not going to go into all of those details. But I do want to say that the increase in convictions has also improved in 10 to 15 years. We found that in about 10 years, the conviction rate of TCC matters has increased from about 60% to close to 77% currently. So also the courts are increasingly giving very, very long sentences. I have, in April 22 to September 2024, the courts imposed 622 life sentences, 427 sentences between 20 to 25 years, 1,099 sentences between 10 and 15 years. The point I make about this is that long sentences are being meted out, but it's not a deterrent. It is not resulting in a drop in sexual and gender-based violence. That means that is not sufficient deterrent. What more do we need to do? So colleagues, I want to say to you that the support we've received from all of you as a collective, I think it's a blueprint for how government can collaborate with private sector. And again here, I want to really thank First Rand for the donation and the sponsorship in terms of this particular TCC. I understand that they are also providing funding for potentially, how many more? 5 more TCCs. So we really, really appreciate on behalf of the victims. It's still not enough, but we want to thank all our private sector on the journey from the word go, who provides food for victims in all of the centers across the country. We really want to thank you all. Phuthaditjhaba TCC. I really want to thank all of you for being here today and to really support government and private sector in terms of helping our victims on the journey to becoming survivors. I thank you.
Indeed, thank you so much for those words. Yes, I think the media is a strange thing. It can be for your benefit or it can hurt you deeply. And I think, unfortunately, bad news is more sensational than good news. And I think this is what happens on a daily basis. There are so many good stories that happen in our courts that's not being told out there. we don't know about them. And I think the majority of cases that go through our courts are being handled professionally, and we have good outcomes for most of our cases. Speaking about the private sector, towards the end of your speech, NDPP, our next item on the agenda will be a message or an address from FirstRand, the head of social investing, and that will be Ms. Gugushe that will address us. The private sector is a very, very important building block for the TCCs. They provide the funds, and as you see, they don't do a scrappy job in doing that. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Protocol has already been established, but I'd like to recognize the Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Honorable Andries Nel, National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Batohi, and your team from the NPA, the National Director General of Health, and all representatives from the Department of Health, as well as all other national department representatives that are present here today. The Premier of the Free State and your representative of MECs that are present here today, thank you very much for welcoming us into the province. The Executive Mayor of the Thuthuzela District Municipality, thank you very much. The representatives of the South African Service, the hospital, traditional leaders, community leaders, faith-based leaders, and partners that are present here today. I think it's important to recognize that in going through the different spheres of people that are present here today, we recognize the power of partnerships. We recognize the power of multidisciplinary engagements. And the fight against gender-based violence is not a fight that is going to be won by any single sector, because it requires all of us to join hands and work together. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as I bring greetings from FirstRand and the FirstRand Empowerment Foundation, more specifically, it is with this hope and mandate that we are given to say, how can we partner better with society as a group? How can we be counted amongst those people that are part of the solutions in getting our country forward? Now, FirstRand has a stated purpose of building a future of shared prosperity for multiple stakeholders, including our customers, our employees, and more importantly, the society and communities that we operate in. We've got major brands like FNB, Westbank, Direct Access, RMB. I'm hoping that some, if not many of you, are banking with FNB. If not, maybe you should start. But the importance of this is, while we operate our businesses within communities, it is important for us to be plugged into what makes those communities work. Our business will not thrive in a failing economy. It will not thrive in a failing society. And so we not only want you to look at us as your banking partners, as your partners in your financing needs, but we also want you to look at us as your partners in resolving the challenges that we have within our communities. The FirstRand Empowerment Foundation was established in 2005 as part of the FirstRand Group's BEE deal, and so we derive our income from the dividends that we get from the group. And so this year we are celebrating 20 years of existence. And in that 20 years, I think we have sought to become a meaningful societal partner. A lot of our work has been in the education space. However, in 2020, 2021, we recognized that there's actually far more country faces, and so we expanded the different focus areas that we have. Foundation that really aims to promote the economic participation of Black people into the economy. And so some of the focus areas that we consider enable economic activity, and these are sectors like agriculture, sectors like climate change, sectors like quality education. We also recognize that gender-based violence and femicide undermine our population to actually engage in those economic activities. The biggest victims of gender-based violence are women and children, and the NDPP, as we were touring the center, told us a statistic that I think really should not sit well with us, that over 55% of cases relate to children. 55% is more than half of the cases relate to children. And so it means that our children are not safe in our communities, our children cannot thrive and grow to realize their dreams and be the future that we want them to be. Because most of the time, they actually are victimized and abused by people that they know. A lot of these happen at the home. A lot of these happen in spaces where children are sent to so that they can get either education or some kind of safekeeping. We all are aware of the Justice for Twetwe matter, and it's not Twetwe alone, it's Twetwe and many others. Many of our children are unable to enjoy their childhood because they are violated in manners that are just not acceptable. And so when we look at gender-based violence, it's not just helping the victims. It's also trying to see how do we actually stop the creation of victims in the rate that they are. And so as the Empowerment Foundation, we then recognized that it was our role not only to support and promote economic activity and economic participation, but also to say that this pandemic that we have, that is gender-based violence, requires funding. These things are not going to happen without money that is allocated to it. And government is certainly not going to be able to do it alone. And so we're playing our part, a small part, but we certainly want to be part of the solution. And so we also really become very excited when we see other private sector partners like Vodacom, like SPAR, that also recognize that we need to dedicate and give what we can. And it's important for us to collaborate and put all of our resources in trying to resolve this. And so yes, we have made the commitment to support 5 TCCs, and that is the beginning. It doesn't mean that is it. It doesn't mean that we now will pat ourselves on the back and say that we've done, because this job is never done. But I think also what we have seen in the last 4 months of this year with cancellations of external international funding, it puts a responsibility on us as South African corporates to say, what are we doing for our own country? What is it that we are going to do to ensure that we as a country can self-determine, can self-manage, and we can actually resolve our own issues and not rely on other people to come in and help us resolve our own problems. And so I just wanted to give the support and commitment that First Rand is on this journey with South Africa to resolve the issues that we have, and we will use all of our ecosystem. So where you see our branches, where you see our operations, where you see our people, those are people that you can lean on and you can reach out to and ask for help. And certainly the foundations that we have are foundations that will give the financial resources that are required to fight this fight. And finally, I think I'd like to say that the building of the center is only just that. What actually happens in the center and the services that will happen in the center is actually what will get this pandemic to really be resolved. So I'd like to request all of our partners that are going to be working there to really ensure that we don't only just empower the victims, but to try and work towards the eradication of this scourge within our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Boucher. Deputy Minister, after hearing that, if you can maybe take from my side now, a message to the President. If I have to convene a cabinet, I would certainly think to appoint a minister for the promotion of collaboration between private-public partnerships. So, I think it will take many of our projects a long way. But that's just from my side. Our next speaker is also a very important stakeholder in the TCC operations. I want to call upon, you will see in the program that General Motsvenyane was supposed to deliver the address today on behalf of SAPS. He tendered his apology, and in his place, Brigadier Els will be delivering the address. She is from the Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit of SAPS. She's the provincial head, the FCS unit of SAPS, as we just call it in general terms. And I welcome you then to the stage.
Good morning. I would like to extend my acknowledgement to the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Honourable Andries Nel, to our Premier, Queen Matai, to all the MCs present, to all our heads of departments that is present today, our stakeholders and partners in this important fight that we have. I acknowledge you and all protocol observed. I would like to open to say that there's a quote from Dorothy Garfield Fisher that says that another is not a person to lean on. Another is a person that makes leaning unnecessary. And I think this takes us to where we are in our positions, where we have platforms, where we are mothers and fathers of our environments, to really educate and strengthen the hands of the community that we serve. We have heard of the partnerships that we are sharing and the necessity of that in our communities, because with the task of mission of SAPS to create a safer and secure environment for all persons in South Africa, I think we have acknowledged that that purpose and that vision cannot be realized by SAPS alone, that we need to take hands with our stakeholders, with our communities, with all our departments, with the NGOs that is working with us. And gender-based violence is such an important aspect in South Africa, and I think there are so many things that influence that. If you look at our social, economical situation in South Africa, that is really dire and is one of the great root causes to gender-based violence. And I think we always endeavour to see what can we do more. And I think the establishment of this TCC is one step towards more, one service more that we can bring to our victims. And really the partnerships that we have, we actively have to engage in to see how can we develop and broaden those partnerships and really look into the effectiveness of the partnerships that we have and the hands that we take to make a greater impact in the society to address gender-based violence. And I think this is one of the statistics where the South African Police Service although it saddens us that there is victims, but when cases are reported, it's the only time that we can influence, help, and bring perpetrators to book. Without that process, we really have victims that become perpetrators, and we cannot break the cycle of abuse. And the services that is rendered at the TCC, just as a very recent case last month, we had a conviction of 5 life sentences that was passed with 4 minor victims. And it starts with services that was rendered at Bloemfontein, TCC, that is gathered at a center like this. The breakthrough in the cases about cannot be done if there was not prior report, investigations by the South African Police Service. You have heard FCS, but FCS is the last one in the line before we hand over to the prosecution. It starts with frontline services. Your people in the CCC, and now, wonderfully, if you can render that service at the TCC. That our victims undergo. So, we would like to pledge our support to the establishment of the 66th in the Free State, and I hope that we in the second one before I reach it. So really, and our pledge today is that we have to take the message to the community in Phuthaditjhaba. Come and report your cases so that we can deliver a service to you, because we are for you.
I think our next speaker, well, it's just that the Commission on Gender Equality, they watch what our government departments are doing, and if we are not doing what we're supposed to do, gender-based issues, I'm sure they will quickly remind us, but I don't want to make them out as being a bully. My experience of the Commission in the Free State at least is more of a stakeholder. We've had joint projects in maintenance courts, things like that, where the CG has really assisted us to get the project off the ground and get a successful outcome. So I'm sure this will also be the case, and I want us to welcome our next speaker. It will be Mr. Thiere from the Commissioner for Gender Equality. Thank you.
Future Director, Advocate Ernst van Rensburg. Let me start by taking this opportunity to thank Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Director of the National Prosecution, Advocate Shamila Batohi, the Premier of the First State, members of the Executive Council, MEC on Social Development, the MEC on the Free State Executive Mayors, faith-based leaders, traditional leaders, senior government officials, stakeholders of everybody here in this important occasion. My name is Kamokamwelo. I'm the newly appointed Commissioner for Promotion for Gender Equality. I was appointed by the President in terms of Section 193, subsection 4B of the Constitution, as one of the commissioners to lead this Chapter 9 institution. So, Commission for Gender Equality is the Chapter 9 institution, one of the 6 independent and impartial Chapter 9 institutions that have been established in terms of Section 181 and 187. Of the Constitution. But the powers of Commission for Gender Equality are derived in Section 187 of the Constitution, which is to ensure that we do more research, we do monitoring and evaluation, we do public education, we do investigation, and also we comply with the international issues and treaties like the Maputo Protocol on Gender Equality, as well as the international conference on gender matters that took place in China, which is known as the Beijing International Conference. So I'm a lead commissioner here in the Free State. We have a provincial manager, we have a legal officer, education officer. So my role as the commissioner is to monitor the administrative functions of the Commission for Gender Equality and to ensure that the administrators or the officials of the CCCs abide by the provisions of Section 187 of the Constitution. Program Director, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today marks a significant milestone in our ongoing fight against gender-based violence in the state. As a commissioner for Commission for Gender Equality, I stand before you with profound gratitude and hope as we open this Thuthuzela Care Centre here in Bethlehem. This center represents our unwavering commitment to survivors of sexual violence. Here in Bethlehem, they will find compassionate care, skilled medical attention, and access to justice, all under one roof, with dignity and respect as embodied in the founding values of the Constitution, as well as the Section 9 and 10 of the Constitution. The name Thuthuzela in cause, it means comfort. And that is precisely what we aim to provide. Comfort during trauma, support during recovery, and justice in the aftermath of violence. To the dedicated staff who will work here, I thank you for your commitment to our partners in government, particularly the Free State Provincial Government, civil society organizations, and the healthcare. I appreciate your collaboration. And to the community of Kwakwa, I urge you to embrace this center as a resource for healing and a symbol of our collective stand against gender-based violence and femicide. Together, we are building a safer, more equitable Free State for all. In conclusion, I want to say that as a lead commissioner here in the Free State, we are committed to ensure that we support the work of government, we support the work of the National Prosecution Authority, we support the work of the SAPS and all the stakeholders to ensure that we achieve and we realize the provisions as set out in 181 of the Constitution and 187 of the Constitution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. The Commissioner said that comfort, Thuthuzela means comfort, but isn't the word Thuthuzela a much more beautiful word than comfort? I think we must write to the Oxford, people that compile the Oxford Dictionary and tell them that include Thuthuzela as a verb. So you Thuthuzela your victims, don't comfort them. All right. We are moving on to our next speaker, and again we're moving towards the private partnership, private sector, and I think that's links with the whole comfort concept, the Thuthuzela concept. If you have victims reporting at the TCC who are hungry and who don't have soap to wash themselves, who don't have toiletries, you're not going to get a victim that's going to assist your case very positively. So, to SPAR, thank you for your commitment to the TCCs and the work that you do for TCCs all over the country, not just the Phuthaditjhaba TCC. And I want then to call the next speaker, the SPAR representative, the SPAR representative, Mr. Chaka, to come to the podium, please. He doesn't need the stairs.
The Program Director, Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Honorable Nel, MTB, Batohi, and the entire NPA team, Mayor of the Free State, MEC, Mr. Phuthaditjhaba, all protocol observed. My name is Owen Shaita. I'm the President of SPA, as well as the manager of Malute Super SPA. SPA has been major shareholder. I do not say donor. I don't use that name, but we have pledged, we have vowed to assist with groceries to the TTC. We have been there from the onset, and we are here. I'm very excited that I'm sitting here in the presence of such a highly delegate. Hallelujah. So, yes, we're here. Our gospel is to say that we are here to provide food. Sanitary pads, we have seen the premises, I'm happy. Food, their fridge is there, meat, it's all over us, and I'm very proud to be one of the fathers. I'm a father, I've got kids, I'm a leader. One day I was saying to another guy, I said, you know what, the problem starts with us leaders. Leadership is not lordship. So the problem is in the mindset. Whenever you hear about GBV, it's not a film. It's something that is happening within our families. Even the way we address our kids, the way you address your wife at home, it shows what type of a leader are you. Rights goes with responsibilities. You have a right to be a parent, but also you have a responsibility to take care of the children. So it starts with, you know, when a child is stealing 1 teaspoon of sugar, it starts like that. And they grow up, and then it becomes a habit. It becomes a lifestyle that you are a monster. So it starts with us to say that we are here. We are not here just to sell goods, but we are also here to serve the communities. We are here to spread the word, saying that you say no to GBV. Even in my office, I've got like 20 letters of families that come and looking for support. If you go deeper and ask what happened, you hear that the father is beating the kids, they ran away. So we are here, and I also propose that even in our centers, just give us the boxes where we've got suggestion boxes, where people they put their suggestions in those boxes, whether it's in the mall or whether it's in the shop, so that you will hear a lot of things. People are scared of reporting, and it's happening each and every day. So I'm happy and I'm excited to be one of the pioneers, one of the soldiers that will say, let's combat and go and fight this demon. Amen. So we're going to fight it. and we are here to hand over the groceries, the groceries. We will be providing groceries for the center each and every month. So you have to love me. If I'm dark, you must see a yellow boy. It gets you. Yes. You have to love me. So I don't know. Yeah, so I'm here. I'll be handing over the groceries to Caramelo. Every day you'll be seeing me more often. It's going to be an exciting time. And we are very proud to expand. You must also come and make it fun. It's a very good room, yes. So, can we have the groceries? Okay, I'm going to come there. And then we do our handover as spa. As you can see that the victims who come, they are very hungry, and they come, they are hungry, they don't have stories. When somebody is in a crisis, it's not the time to teach them how to fish. They need a practical solution. So when they come, please give them coffee. It's cold now. When they come, they want to bath, give them towels. When they come, they don't have sanitary pads, we have them here. It's a little spa. And it's even cheap for the community. How much is it? 6 rand. Yes. So I'm handing over, and to say as far we are grateful to be in partnership. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Richard. I see you wearing red. Father Christmas normally wears red. Thank you for the presents. That's only the first week's stock, is that right? No, thank you. Our next speakers are all from our community now. The reason why we are all here is because there's a community in Phuthaditjhaba that's bleeding, that needs assistance with GBV. And we know that GBV is a prevalent issue in this area. This is why this site was chosen for the erection of the TCC. But the TCC will mean nothing if the community doesn't use it. So we need your support, community. We really need your support. So we have a few speakers. Give us their support to use this TCC. And remember, the TCC staff do public awareness outreach programs, but they won't get to everyone. We need the community leaders to go to their communities, tell the members of the community, please, we have a TCC. If you need the services, please go there. Our first speaker will be from our faith-based organizations, and we'll call Pastor Clady to the podium. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you so much, Program Director. Greetings to you all, our beautiful and handsome guests. I greet you all in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And thank you so much for inviting me in this prestigious occasion. I would like to greet the CEO of the hospital, because it's very important to greet her, because as faith-based organizations, the doors of this institution are always opened for us. And thank you so much in the mature team. As the first hospital, as faith-based organizations, we also like to acknowledge MPA for recognizing us, Thuthuzela Care Centre. the word of God in the book of love. And I want to believe that this center has been built here to show how much you care and love the community of Phuthaditjhaba and the entire province of the Free State. As faith-based organizations, it is our responsibility to teach people to love each other. I believe that you can't hate someone that you love. It's my responsibility as a father to teach my son to love his siblings. I've got 2 daughters. And what I've recognized is that they love to talk to me more than they talk to their mother. Because I love them and they should feel loved. As faith-based organizations, we have a mountain to climb. Leaders who are here, I think it is our responsibility that they should take care of each other. They should love each other. Importantly, so in our schools, I always say that maybe the government also have a role to play. And I want to believe that Pastor Mary, a boy child, has been neglected for a very long time. And I always say that my beautiful daughters are going to be married by boys who doesn't have morals, who doesn't have good standings. And if the government can help us as faith-based organizations to reach out to young boys, that will be a very good thing to do. And I want to believe that as faith-based organizations, we are here to support TCC. And we'll always be here to see to that those who need spiritual guidance, spiritual attendance, we are here to support them and give them the necessary attention they need. And thank you so much, Program Director, for giving me this opportunity. I've been given 3 minutes, I've been told so. So thank you so much for recognizing us as faith-based organizations.
Thank you, Pastor. If you don't have faith, you don't have anything, isn't that the same? So thank you for your inputs, Pastor. Our next community representative will be from the local council. I call upon Councillor Molloy. He is the ward councillor for Ward 17 in this area. Councillor, if you can approach the podium, thank you. My apologies, it's the lady, and I think I said he, so I'm so sorry.
Thuthuzela hentse ba re setjhaba sa Motjapofung le tlo hauwa ka hara sebaka sa mangolo mo 17 re tsitse masepala la ba utlwa ka nnete ke thabile ho utlwa hore tlo hauwa sepetlele se ka hara wa teatro ha ba batla ka fihla ka sebaka se ke bitsitswe ke sepetlele sa Rose Thuthuzela le maphelo a batho ke la ka tlameha ho jwalo ka ward council batho ba tlo sebetsa mo ahong ebe batho ba kwano ba mangau le wote haufinyana wa 1600 eshaledi ka hospital ka mokama kala ga etsa mosebetsi tsatsi ne sa gobala ne ke la ka tsa fela ga nka bona Thuthuzela e qetuwe mme ke thabile bo mme sela ga di wote tsa fapane re ntse mosebetsi re bile setjhaba ba tletse Thuthuzela diaparo di teng ka mona ka ntle
Yona jwale tjena ke ntse ke bua le setjhaba se teng hore re ntse re tswela pele di-meeting tsa rona tsa setjhaba ntse re lo batla diaparo tse tswang kwa Thuthuzela. Ha re batle bahlatsipa a kene a tabohetso a tshwanetse a tabohetso. Bomme ba ntate ke a leboha. Ke lebohe marena teng kwana. Ke lebohe mmuso wa district le masepala wa Motapofung national le province. Ke a bona baetapele ba ka ke bona le SAPS ke bone teng le dikolo di teng mona di-principal ke a di bona bontate bona. Ke a leboha.
Hello. Our next speaker is from a very important stakeholder in the TCC. They are actively involved in service delivery. It will be Phuthaditjhaba from the Thuthuzela Advice Centre, and I'm sure she will tell you a bit more of what they do at the TCC. I know that they provide shelter services and so forth for victims of cheating. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Let me greet our MEC, our directors, and most of all, our mother, CEO of the hospital. Let me say protocol observed. My name is Mrs. Siwe Hadebe. I'm from Thuthuzela Advice Centre. Thuthuzela Advice Centre is an NPO that established in 1995. To us today is a very honor to be here at Elizabeth Ross Hospital, where Thuthuzela Care Centre. Thuthuzela Care Centre has a shelter that operates 24 hours, whereby we accommodate the victim of gender-based violence. We are happy because today we are going to work hand in hand with Thuthuzela. It's an honor because Thuthuzela now, the victim will never get a secondary victimization because they are going to get a service on one center where all the departments are gathered together to assist the victim. According to the state that we get from Thuthuzela Advice Centre, from October to March this year, we're having 185 cases, excluding the cases from our organization, which are working together with them, which is Kolakwe Advice Centre. It's very painful to hear that we're having 55% of children abuse. The most people who are harmful, that need our attention and to be protected. So I would like to say to Elizabeth Ross, thank you so much to have this center called Thuthuzela. It will help the community a lot. And we'd like to say to Mr. Owen Chait from SPA. Mr. Chaita, he said, is the father. Mr. Chaita, can you please be our father to our center? And thank you.
people who are present here today are here to hear the next speaker. So, without further ado, Mr. Moreno Mopedi, will you please just approach the podium to address the delegation or the guests. My apologies. On behalf of traditional leadership.
Why are you audible on the mic?
Thank you very much, Program Director.
Why are you audible?
It's so privileged and delighted to be here. And we want to convey our greetings to Deputy Minister of Justice, Andries Nel, Premier Waruna, Batohi, Sasolburg and Welkom, Andries Nel, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to talk like a team, because it represents the team. But when the whole over in Babylona, Morena Moremo Moteba Mobi, Morena Mundi, ya DCC Shamila Batohi, station man mo yung hore mahlatsi ba ayulo inactives ibiba hore ha tlameha hore court what technicalities tse etsang hore mahlatsi ba a thole a hlekefetsile le go feta ka mokgwa wa hlekefetsileng ka teng. Mme Batohi a go etse hore moifong wa hao wa prosecutor o be le ditataiso taba le prosecutor ka hare ho ngole di-case ho latela ka mokgwa batho ba baholo re na le phephetso dikolong. Bana ba rona ba kenang dikolo ba ima. Ha ba imiswe ke dithaka tsa bona. Na le ka kenya tshehetso ka hare ho dikolo hore ha re bona ngwana a imileng a ka botsuwe ka botlebo hore ke mang ya mo imisitseng, hore ho tlo kgona ho latellwa. Hobane malapa a bo rona a ipata ka bofuma, ha e le nna imisitseng ngwana sekolo, ke na le lebele, ke kopana le motswadi ke le motswadi, se ba isa pele lebele le teng. Ke ditaba tse bohloko tse re tlamehang hore di tshwele ka mathe. Mme ha re rialo re lebohela tsena tsohle tse tlileng kwano mona, re di amohetse ka matsoho a mabedi ebile re tlo fana ka support ya rona ho tsona. Ebile ke lakatsa hore ekare boreneng ba rona morena Molwedi ka kopanelo ditaba tsena re di theosetse ho marena metsi hobane ke bona ba tshwarang ditaba tsena nako le nako. Jwale re ke re ba rute re ba rupellwe hore tse ding tsa dinyewe tse tshwarwang moreneng di lokelwa ke hore di kediswe ka lehlakoreng lena la molao. Mme ha re rialo tsa moreneng ha di futse, ha di robale pulane insurane hobane pele ya tla di kgokgopanya marejana. Ha re rialo thank you.
Esteemed guests, we will shortly have the honour of giving a provincial perspective on GBV and a message of support from our Premier, Honourable Thuthuzela Batohi, but she will first be introduced by the MEC for the Department of Health. So I call upon Mr. Mashlatsi to do the introduction. Thank you, sir.
Khotso. Greetings to all of you in the name of the 7th Administration of Free State Provincial Government. And let me observe the protocol. I would start first with my Premier, my leader. Let me honor you, my leader. Let me acknowledge the Deputy Minister. Let me acknowledge the NDPP. Let me acknowledge my fellow EXCO member, I'm just happy that the decision here I had a center. You take the blame. I was not there. Otherwise, people would accuse me of so I'm happy that anyone who has issues with that decision was made in your time, not in my time. And let me also acknowledge the mayors that are around. Let me acknowledge the national departments that are here and the provincial leadership from the different departments. Let me acknowledge all the dignitaries that are here, and most importantly, the traditional leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, if this tent was not here and I was looking there, yes, born, just across the river, high. So I'm very happy and very glad to be here.
And Premier, 35 years ago, when I attended the nursing college, I was sleeping here. Our nursing home was here, just on the other side. So we were sleeping here, traveling to Manako every morning to attend classes. So it's good to be back home again. I'm here to introduce the Premier. And one key thing that I want to say, Premier, is that people have always been saying we're not good on maintenance. And we have seen a very good facility there. Our head of infrastructure is here, Dr. Mfute, and our committee here, and the head of corporate services is here. The CEO is here. I commit here today that the maintenance of that facility, if everything else fails, we are not going to fail the maintenance of that facility. that we are not going to fail. And we stand here to introduce, I stand here to introduce the Premier, but I couldn't help but to brag. I'm now the high. Yes, you have to say a lot of things. And we're happy about the collaboration that came out of here. And let me indicate that this is one thing that our Premier emphasizes every day, that as government officials, we only have one client, and that client is the citizen of this country and a resident of this province. And we can't be working inside. And that is why the emphasis is that all the time we must always collaborate. So, just a quick thing on numbers. You said, Batohi, you said this is the 5th one. Hey? We're going to Easter, MEC Machabane. So, number 5, what does it mean? It signifies freedom, signifies adventure, courage. It's also linked with transformation, change, and new beginnings. So this is what this facility means. And you said it's the 66th day. So I quickly checked Isaiah 66, verse 5. And it says, hear the word of the Lord, you who tremble at his word. Ready, stay again. Can I hear an amen somewhere? Yes. So, yes, Murray and I don't talk about teenage pregnancy. And we have a problem, we have pre-teen and teenage pregnancy. And that's what the provincial government is dealing with now. We have launched a campaign here in Bloemfontein where we're dealing with that and other facilities. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here to introduce to you someone who needs no introduction because she reaches every little corner. She makes the African proverb a reality. The African proverb that says, the sun never forgets a village because it's small. So the High Mona Mahai, she also comes here. You can see that this place is a construction site on the roads. We try to get the roads right. It's because of the influence, because of the decisions that she made when she was still in public works, and she is our leader, a former MK soldier, and she has looked the other side of the gun, you know. She knows how to use it. She comes from the MK, so she's somebody who's brave, who's seen it all. I give to you my Premier, my Queen, that's my mission for you, and the wisdom is so this is how we dress when we go to work. That commitment.
said. Jwalo ka o tjho hore tse ding ke di-challenge tsa lona marena, because ha ka dutse mona tse ding tsa Matjhaba, it's not only traditional leaders, tshwanetse le re assist ka di-traditional healers, because that's where also GBV is taking place, where our beliefs human rights last month under the theme and a code, deepening a culture of social justice and human rights. During this month of April, we celebrate Freedom Day, remembering the sacrifices that were made by our current leaders through their selfless really we need to play a role in making sure that at one of our churches in our communities, who are they? Where are they coming from? Who gives them permission? Those sites, the issue for these fake pastors to come and abuse our communities. So you got to come in here and they could actually welcome our counselors in a role of knowing people who are within your communities. Remember to come here, you know your neighbor, Molo Makela, Jumela, Moaisa. Those are the programs that we really need to deal with, especially at the level, your local government. And then we want to say, Muso, but mainly, in a churches, it's a machine, or I'm sure the tens, another 10,000 tens here, more people who are claiming to be pastors, those who are believing in miracles. To issues today. The Phuthaditjhaba TCC, the prophet, should be acknowledged that we are committed to eradicating GBVF and protecting the survivors for further victimization. This center will be a beacon of hope for the victims of gender-based violence and will ensure successful completion of sexual offences cases against women, children, and members of the LGBTQIA+. And when I'm another, we will
education ya community sa rona ke yone e hlokahalang. Ha re hloke di-police station tse ngata hore re dilane ka crime e leng teng ka. E tlo re thusa hore batho ba sa kgone ho fihlella di-police station. Here, o ka nka statement, they can call police here, subsequently mona take statement from this center. You don't have to even have to worry or now, but especially looking at the area itself. But dear, I'm proud also to indicate that Marenas Ambona last year, probably 4x4, they are driving Dikoloi from state, and part of Dikoloi they should be able to assist their communities. So all of them, we handed over cars yesterday during what was it? Heritage Day. So Reba blessings as this provincial government. We are determined to eliminate gender-based violence and femicide and ensure that the safety and protection of women, children, and people living with disabilities is steadfast. We also have to focus on people living with disabilities. They are also victims of gender-based violence. We leave no one behind in our quest to facilitate access to justice and ensure victims are treated with dignity. Program Director, I've already made a call to parties in our provincial legislature to also take part in this Bethlehem where we are confronted with this GBV, because gender-based violence knows no political line. Marana ke kopa le tsebisa setjhaba sa lona ka center ena e mona le kgone ho re thusa hore ba tsebe hore na e bohlokwa ha kae e etsa mosebetsi o mokakang, mme ha re ka ra sebetsa jwalo kaofela re tla bona dintse di atolwa di ya le dibakeng tse ding. Ke lebohe hape mona the stakeholders tse leng teng mona, mme wa bank, I bank with FNB for more than 30 years, 40 years. So I'm proud to be. It's an Barclays Bank, Kena School. So I get like never save money. They were talking about. I think it's another financial institution that I whipped on social media. So hallelujah to FNB. Was this partnership, DM, it's very important who are doing business with government. The 1% they have this social responsibility. Those are areas they should be able to contribute back, plow back to communities and contribute to centers like this. The people, those contractors that are here, they construct these roads, they should be able to come here and plow back from that 1% of social responsibility. In conclusion, let us also join hands and work as a collective in this fight. This should be the responsibility of each and every member of the society. Bontate, le baruti ba dikereke ka ho fapana. Ke batla emphasize ha baruti ba dikereke. Pastor, tshwantse re bapale karolo e kgolo mo. Because these miracles tse re di fake tse re di etsang dikerekeng di a contributor here. So ke kopa re rapelle ba bang ba di fake gore ba tlohele go abuse bomme le bona in the name ya Jesus Christ. So please assist us because alle sa re thuse ha re tlo di tseba le tsona mona. So we really need to regulate some of this. And my counselor, ke batla go emphasize once more, assist us in different words. Ska tsoa fela hona le tente. O sa tsebe who is this person? Where is he coming from? Where's that? So re thuse because ke tse ding tsa dintho tse leng hore re thola batho ba rona ba bitsa kwa. Even on the issue of the traditional leaders, kopa emphasize once more Morena. So tla jetsa le Morena whole. I left them in Bloemfontein yesterday. Thanks very much. They supported my budget vote, but I did also share this information. Marena, are tlweleng hore batho ba kene ka hara metse ya rona. Assistance, but from the provincial government point of view, in the Free State Legislature, this responsibility, TM and Batohi, na kifile MEC, one MEC that to lead as a male community, because most of the time we think it's us women. That's what this time around, we want men at the forefront of this. Thank you.
Premier, thank you for your address. I do need to thank you publicly. I understand you have your EXCO meetings every Wednesday, and you especially postponed your EXCO meeting for this Wednesday to be here, and you released your MECs to be here today. So thank you for that. And I was told it rarely happens, so it just shows the importance this event has to your office. Our keynote address will be delivered by Honourable Nel, our Deputy Minister for Justice and Constitutional Development, and he will be introduced by our National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Batohi. So I call Advocate Batohi to the stage again.
Thank you very much. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our Deputy Minister, Honourable Andries Nel. He is no stranger to the justice sector or the Department of Justice, since Deputy Minister also held this position from 2009 to 2013. This was at a time when the TCCs were starting to be established as part of the country's anti-rape strategy. Minister Nel was born in the vibrant city of New Orleans in Louisiana, where his father was the South African consul at the time. His interest in politics, human rights, and justice began whilst in high school in Sao Paulo in Brazil. Back in South Africa, he studied law at the University of Pretoria and actively participated in anti-apartheid movement by joining structures like NUSAS, the South African Students' Press Union, Students for Democratic Society, and other student movements. As a lawyer, he worked for Lawyers for Human Rights, heading up the LHR's capital punishment and penal reform project. Deputy Minister's commitment to justice and human rights led him into politics, serving on the ANC's Constitutional Assembly Committee and as a coordinator of the legal and monitoring team and the ANC National Elections team. He became a member of parliament for the ANC in 1994. Over the years, DM has worn various hats, both in parliament and as a member of the executive. He served on various portfolio committees and was the whip of the Justice Portfolio Committee and a House whip from 2000 to 2002. He served on various ad hoc committees and parliamentary committees such as the Joint Rules and Programs Committee. He was appointed Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development in, as I said earlier, 2009 to 2013. Between 2019 and 2024, DM returned to work at Lutili House, the ANC's headquarters. And after the May 2024 general election, he was appointed for a second term as a Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. It gives me honor to call on the Deputy Minister to address us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before see
the national director and I have in the language of my organization, we'll say it's the unity and struggle of opposites in terms of verticality. So I must, yeah, we don't see eye to eye. Oh.
No, in exco. In exco. Related.
I hope this thing. Khotso. Bomele bontate. Kia dumikisa kaufela. Kinali di airtime engata kasisutu. Empa ki tlobolela sesimani. Botata ki nakidula pitoli. Ki bulela sipitoli. It's a mengelmoes. So, Program Director, thank you very, very much. I am told by those who are more educated in diplomacy than I am that the phrase all protocol say I is program. I'd like to, but I think I would be remiss if I didn't recognize my host Premier. I was joking with her earlier that I'm visiting the Free State so often these days that I'm busy applying for dual citizenship. And also the National Director of Public Prosecutions and our esteemed traditional leaders. I'd like to start by conveying the very warm greetings of Minister Mameloko Kubai, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. She would very, very much have loved to be here, but she's part of a presidential imbizo in the Eastern Cape. And I think those of us in government, and I think also the traditional leaders amongst us, we understand how certain protocols work. But when the president goes somewhere, it's not an option for ministers to not go. But I think it's very well known that Minister Kubai is very, very passionate about the struggle against gender-based violence and femicide. For her, it's both a political and a personal priority that's very, very close to her heart. And I think it's a struggle that's close to the hearts of all of us, especially those of us who are gathered here today. I would like to request your indulgence and to kindly ask that we all rise and join me in reciting the preamble to the Constitution of the Republic. We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustices of our past. Honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land. Respect those who have worked to build and develop our country. Believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. United in our diversity. We therefore through our freely elected representatives, adopt this Constitution as the supreme law of the Republic, so as to heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on democratic values and fundamental human rights. Lay the foundations for a democratic and open society in which government is based on the will of the people and every citizen is equally protected by law. Improve the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person. And build a united and democratic South Africa, able to take its rightful place in the family of nations. May God protect our people. Nkosi Murena Buluka Sichaba Sahesu. God seën South Africa. God bless South Africa. Mudzimu Phuthaditjhaba Thuthuzela. Hosi Katikisa Africa. I thank you. The preamble to our Constitution captures the essence of who we are as a nation and the kind of society that we seek to be, must become. When we proclaim, as we have just done, that we seek to build a democratic and open society in which every citizen is protected by law, every citizen must be victims of gender-based violence. When we proclaim, as we've done, that we are committed to improving the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person, this must include, especially our society, women, children, gender non-conforming persons, persons with disabilities, the LGBTQIA persons. The Department of Justice and Constitutional Development and the National Prosecuting Authority are committed to fight any kind of gender power-based violence perpetrated against vulnerable persons. Our commitment must be equal to, if not greater than, the magnitude of the pandemic of hate and violence that the most vulnerable in our society are confronted with. At the 31st of December 2024, the statistics drawn from our courts already showed 127 cases of statutory rape. A recent report by Statistics South Africa revealed that over 105,000 girls between 10 and 19 gave birth during the period April 2022 to March 2023. In less than a fortnight, we will celebrate Freedom Day on the 27th of April, 31 years since our first democratic non-racial elections. We will celebrate Freedom Day under the theme United in Resilience for the defense of our freedom and democracy. It is, regrettably, a very appropriate theme, given the very adverse international conjuncture that we find ourselves in. We see the dark clouds of conflict, of tension, of intolerance, and authoritarianism gathering all over the world. Increasingly, lightning flashes of aggression are being directed at South Africa, a country committed to nothing more than occupying our rightful place as a sovereign state in the family of nations. In the words of the Freedom Charter, there shall be peace and friendship. South Africa shall be a fully independent state which respects the rights and sovereignty of all nations. South Africa shall strive to maintain world peace and the settlement of all international disputes by negotiation, not war. As South Africa, we say, asina mona, asina nzondo, siyayidumisa in South Africa. However, we also say, as our president said during the State of the Nation address, we will not be bullied. Our freedom and democracy were not attained without struggle and sacrifice. Neither will their continued existence be guaranteed without our collective commitment and effort, united in our diversity. Therefore, we must remain united in resilience for defense of our democracy and freedom. During the past week, the reopening of the inquests into the deaths of Chief Albert Luthuli and Griffith Mxenge reminded us painfully that our freedom indeed was not for free. We also welcome, with a mixture of pain and euphoria, the historic judgment by Judge Dario Dosiu in the Gauteng High Court on Monday that former Askari Clomedi Ephraim Mfa-Lapitsa, 67 years old, and former apartheid security branch member Christian Siebert Rurich, 74 years old, can be charged with the 1982 murder of the Kwasas Four. The Congress of South African Students was formed in 1981. It was one of the largest and most militant of the affiliates of the United Democratic Front. It was also one of the first to adopt the Freedom Front Charter. Judge Dosiu held that, quote, there can be no time bar for crimes against humanity, and apartheid constituted a crime against humanity, close quote. The struggle against apartheid was also a struggle and gender repression, and the triple oppression and exploitation of the majority of South African women on the basis of race, class, and color. Race, class, and gender, rather. As we celebrate the defeat of this odious system, we pay tribute to the many heroines of our struggle who sacrificed so much. Lillian Ngoyi, Helen Joseph, Rahima Musa, Sophie Williams-De Bruyn, and many others who marched to the Union buildings in Pretoria on the 9th of August, 1956, to protest against the introduction of pass laws for women. Gathered here today in the Free State, we continue to be inspired by the life and struggle of Charlotte Makoke, an activist and intellectual who was present at the founding of the South African Native National Congress in 1912. She also led the first women's anti-pass demonstration on the 28th of May, 1913 in Bloemfontein. In this month, as we celebrate our freedom from the oppression of the past, we need to collectively safeguard our democratic gains while robustly fighting against the scourge of gender-based violence and femicide. We gathered here to honor them and to commit ourselves to continuing their struggle by launching this Thuthuzela Care Centre in Phuthaditjhaba, the 66th of its kind in South Africa and the 5th in the Free State. The Thuthuzela Care Centre model is designed to provide psychosocial, medical and legal services to victims of GBV. It does so, amongst others, by ensuring a centralized and cohesive management of these cases. It does so by promoting the sharing of resources of government to achieve a coordinated, caring, responsive, agile, and effective justice system. We commend the invaluable support of the provincial departments of health and social development, the SAPS, and others to ensuring that Thuthuzela Care Centres achieve their objectives. We pay special tribute to healthcare workers for their efforts in the day-to-day management of these centres. The Thuthuzela Care Centre model represents homegrown international best practice. It has made significant inroads in making victims not only see, but to feel that justice has been done. The Thuthuzela Care Centre model represents not only a whole of government approach to combating GBV, but a whole of society effort. We therefore welcome the continued participation of business, and we extend our sincere appreciation to the First Rand Empowerment Foundation, the SPAR franchise, and also Vodacom for their invaluable support for this noble cause. We also commend the role played by civil society organizations and community members, and of course, our esteemed and honored traditional leaders. We encourage them to report crimes of GBV to this Thuthuzela Care Centre so that victims and survivors of these horrendous crimes receive the necessary medical, psychosocial and legal services. We simply cannot succeed without your support. Section 54 of the Criminal Law, Sexual Offences and Related Matters Amendment Act criminalizes any failure to report any knowledge, reasonable belief, or suspicion that a sexual offence has been committed against a vulnerable person. Likewise, Section 2B of the Domestic Violence Act imposes a mandatory reporting of domestic violence matters perpetrated against children, persons with disabilities, and older persons. Non-compliance with the latter provision amounts to a punishable offence. The establishment of this Thuthuzela Care Centre in Phuthaditjhaba bears testimony to the fact that government is committed to honouring its commitments, both in the GBVF National Strategic Plan, as well as the commitments made by President Cyril Ramaphosa in the 2025 State of the Nation Address. The President has given clear marching orders to us that he wishes to see every victim of GBVF accessing justice services that are free from secondary traumatization and victimization. The National Prosecuting Authority reports that during the period 1 January 2025 to 9 April, the Free State finalized 574 cases of sexual offences with a verdict and recorded the highest conviction rate of 86.9%. This was followed by the Eastern Cape with a conviction rate of 78.7%, arising from 1,061 verdict cases. We commend the National Director of Public Prosecutions and the prosecutors in the Free State for working with their colleagues in the Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster, as well as business and civil societies, to bring justice to vulnerable victims of sexual offences. However, sadly, and I'm very happy that the National Director addressed this matter, the recent cases of Kwekwe and Omat have dented public trust in our criminal justice system and the National Prosecutor has had frank yet very constructive engagements with the National Director to take corrective action. We will not rest until the public confidence is restored, not through words, but through visible action and tangible results. The battle against GBVF cannot be won by our law enforcement agencies alone, and certainly cannot be won without the support and involvement of men. President Ramaphosa said at the recent biennial conference of the International Association of Women Judges that, and I quote, "The task of ending GBVF should not be the responsibility of women alone. It should also involve men who should, in fact, be at the forefront of the struggle, because it is us as men who must lead the struggle against gender-based violence. Then we need to unlearn ideologies and practices that we were brought resolute in rebuilding the values of equality, of respect and dignity for women and girls, starting within our own families. We must promote positive masculinity in all sectors of life. The implementation of family rehabilitation programs must be intensified to improve parenting skills and the visibility of fathers to their children. The Department of Justice and Constitutional Development's report of the first 3 quarters of the previous financial year, shockingly and painfully, 498 of the 3,212 perpetrated against children. This has created a pandemic within a pandemic. Act together, and we must act robustly and decisively. Let us remain united in resilience for the defense of our freedom and democracy. In the words of the Freedom Charter, adopted 70 years ago on the 26th of June 1955, we must say, let all people who love their people and their country now say, as we say here, these freedoms we will fight for side by side throughout our lives until we have won our liberty. It is in this spirit that we declare this Thuthuzela Care Centre in Phuthaditjhaba open. We thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Minister, for your profound message. Normally when people higher up say something, people listen better to the message. And I think you've relayed that message very well. We are nearing the end of the program. And just before I call our last speaker to the podium, I just want to ask the guests to remain seated. I still have a few logistical topics or issues that I need to just relay to all of you. So just remain seated after the last address. Let me call our next speaker. It's my boss. Call her to the podium to give give an address on vote of thanks and closure. Advocate Carrie Gambu, my boss, Special Director of Prosecutions in the Soka unit. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. To the leadership in the room, from the private sector, the public sector, the traditional leadership, ladies and gentlemen, now I need to just check what the correct wording was, DM. I stand on the protocol already established. But it gives me great pleasure to have the opportunity to, on behalf of the NPA and our stakeholders, at the close of what I would like to call a momentous occasion, the launch of a Phuthaditjhaba TCC, to extend our deepest gratitude to each and every one, each and every stakeholder, each and every leader who made this day possible. To our Premier, Ma'am, the Mayor, thank you for welcoming us into the province and allowing us to do the work together. Because as the DM said, this is about collaboration. If ever you wanted to know how government can work well together, you go to a Thuthuzela Care Centre. If you want to know how private sector can work with government, you go to a Thuthuzela Care Centre. And for those of you that were able to go through the centre this morning, It's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. It says to the victim, we care. We care about your dignity. We care about what you went through. And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to convey. Yeah. I want to thank the public sector parties, specifically the Department of Health. Ma'am, thank you to the CEO for welcoming us, for driving with us to make sure that this Phuthaditjhaba TCC is opened. We thank you. We thank DOH as a whole. You know, I must just say that I was told that there are bags across the room there, and it was a clothing bag initiative, spearheaded by yourself, ma'am, the CEO. And donations came from the community of Maluti Upper Farm. And we say thank you so much for the donation of clothing to this TCC. You know, the importance, you will only know the importance of a panty, a bra, a top, a pants when you're a victim. And you come in with just that on your back because you couldn't go back and get something else. That is about giving dignity back. It might sound silly to some others. So, ma'am, to our partners of the FCA, you know, we partner everywhere, as we partner with DOH on these collaborations with the police and with the DOH. So thank you to you for being at the coalface with the doctors, at the coalface, the victims when they are at their most. So we thank you for that as well. DSD, you know, trauma needs trauma containment. The victim needs essential services thereafter. As the DM said, and I all have these pamphlets. Please throw them away, read them. Because you go out and you're going to speak TCC wherever you are. So make sure that people come into this environment. Government case, sector case. Let us show them. So I want to thank each and every one of you for that partnership, for that synergy between all of us, making sure that the TCC model works, because it does work. It does work. As the NDBP said, we have 66 TCCs across the country, but it's still too few. So I'm speaking to First Rank. She knows I'm speaking to her. It's still too few, right? But I know that we will work together, and we will build this. We've done, as a collective, we've done, 11 in the past 3 to 4 years. That's a lot. But we need to work even harder to make sure that we are able to build even more. I want to speak specifically to the private sector. Connie, when we started out the engagement with First Rank, there was talk of only one TCC, right? I'm still counting, I'm just saying. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank Connie, you for your in her Rabia, I know is somewhere, Rabia Awasi, really understanding what the model, understanding what the NSP means for you as the private sector coming on board. And I want to say the same to SPA as well. We are truly thankful and appreciative. You could have chosen other ways to address GBV. you chose the TCC model, which said that you believe in the model. And that's what we need. We need everyone to believe in the model. I also want to, also acknowledge the fact that this is not the only TCC that First Rand has done. They've also completed the one in Madadeni, in KZN, also in Beauty, which we will launch much. And they will also will redo Libode in the Eastern Cape. So we are the SPA group, as I said, we acknowledge where he is, there we go. Miracles with the groceries. It's about dignity, you spoke. But SPA also assists us with marketing the TCC brand through the TCC bags. I don't see it here, my friend, on this one. I don't see gender-based violence on this one, but across the country it's there, and you'll see the Thuthuzela logo on it. So again, you know, it's when the private sector understands the importance of the model that we are able to join hands. So we are very, very thankful for that. To our DM, sir, you are always ready to come and support us when we launch. I think the last launch was the Mitchell's Plain one in the Western Cape, and here you are again. So we are truly humbled by the fact that you took the time to come. To the members of the traditional leadership, the ward councillors, the religious leaders, thank you for your support coming here today. We hope that it won't be your last time speaking about. We hope it will not be your last time even coming here. You know, I will say to the guys from my team, please welcome the communities into our spaces so that they understand what is available, so that when a member of the community comes to them, they know where to direct them to, not take them to pillar to post, right? So the fact that we're all sitting here, you know, and I speak to the community members that are sitting on the other side as well, you must use your influence. We've empowered you with information today, that's why you are here, but you must go out there and share that with the victims that we know are there. To the DG Health and to Dr. Ncha, whom we are partnering to make sure that your team at a national level, you know, and the consistency around the country. And I know it will be very successful. The NGOs that are, you know, the life after our. So we thank you for your service, a very important, the work that our for that. NPA, the students that are, I know that there are some that are here, just between the teams, absolutely important. We need to make sure that it's adopted. And you see that they were not at the, if there's one in the local. Appreciate the work that you do as well. Then to the MADOS, soccer unit, NDPP, we thank you for your support in TCC And know that you are. The last time we traveled to Kran, we had to travel to willing. And I just want to say thank you. And soccer, who cares about gender-based violence isn't a priority. But she has made it a priority. She pushes to ensure that it remains a priority. And that's important. And that's for all leadership to also do, There's a saying that I like to use, and that is, if service is beyond you, then leadership is above you. If you're not willing to serve as a leader, you must get out. Because there are others that are willing to work and are willing to lead. Because I maintain the victims deserve nothing less than our best. So thank you, ma'am. To my team, Genevieve, Deborah, the national coordinator, to Aaron's, I drive Aaron's up the wall completely. And where's Ella? Ella, you met, where's he? Canalero, where's he? There we go. When we decide upon a TCC, there is such a drive to make sure it is done quickly, and we push. And I know we sometimes knock heads here and there, but it's for a good cause. For your work as well. We were out here yesterday, it was raining. And rain symbolizes renewal, right? And so, cleansing, it's a symbol of growth, a period of hardship. I thought it rained, right, just before. So, be a place of renewal for our cleanse caused by violence. Victims leave here as to start afresh. TCC be a beacon of hope to the people. And may this all a place of healing and an absolute commitment to justice.
SDPP, thank you for your words. I've received an instruction from the NDPP because you thanked everyone else, but no one thanked you. I've been in soccer longer than you have, and I've seen TCCs go up in the past since 2010, 2009, when the first TCC started. But since you've become the special director, I think there's been a definite drive, especially with the private sector, to get funding, because there was a period of stagnation where we didn't see new TCCs. We just kept the ones that are there running to the best of our ability, and there were many vacancies as well. And we are seeing all the new TCCs going up. We are seeing vacancies being filled. And I think you are the main driving force behind that. Thank you so much. Just a few, remember the sun is shining today, so it's a new dawn for the GBV victims of Phuthaditjhaba. All right, just a few logistical arrangements for lunch. The guests VIP guests that were in the room or holding area this morning that were part of the briefing session, you will receive your lunch there, so you can move towards that part. Unfortunately, if you're a high-ranking official, you need to work a bit more. So the following people, there will be a media engagement at the TCC itself. So you're going to get some more exercise. You have to walk there and honor the media engagement, please. It will be the Deputy Minister, the Premier, the MEC for Health, MEC Social Development, NDPP, SDPP, our DG for Health, our Executive Mayor Tabu Mafutanyane District, and Ms. Gugushe Kone from First Rand. If you can just honor the media engagement at the TCC. If you can go now, it will be appreciated. They will reserve a table for you at the lunch section. I hope there's food left when you get back. But all right. Okay, so the VIP guests that in the hall with accreditation cards, you are requested to collect lunch behind the coffee station there in the corner, the side of the tent. You can then return to your seats to have lunch. And then the guests in the tent, you are requested to remain seated. You can hear me that side. The ushers will escort you to the designated lunch area so that we just have some order. I thank you, and I hope I haven't bored you too much. Thank you.